the two crazy guys on Contra Radio Network and KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. Chasing the rabbit so you don't have to. Here they are, Mark and Don, the two crazy guys.
Yeah, looks like we're rocking and rolling. Welcome to another broadcast episode of The Two Crazy Guys. You're listening to us on KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority, and probably over on Contra Radio Network as well. My name is Donald Lowry, a.k.a. Big D, and on the other side is my cohort, my other crazy partner in crime, I don't know, Mark Boyle. Welcome, Mark Boyle, a.k.a. Prepper Guy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good. I guess we should tell all our fans Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, and then I didn't really have much to talk about other than it's Easter, which everyone has plenty to do on Easter and talk about amongst their families. So let's just talk about politics.
Well, here's the big news. The Mueller report was released with, of course, redacted. And, you know, here's the thing that gets me is all these people calling for the full release of the report. You know, legally they cannot do that because you have to be able to protect the jurors and you know, there's names and people that don't want their information released. And so you have to be real careful. You cannot legally release that kind of information. And so, but the redacted report was released, and lo and behold, what do you have? A big nothing burger.
Yeah, there's no there. So, hey, I couldn't have been happier.
Well, you know, Mark, we knew this, and we have been saying this, that it's a nothing burger, because if they had something in there, then it would have been all over everywhere, and Trump would probably be on the road to impeachment as we speak.
Right. Well, you know what I found so amazing watching the flurry or the crap storm on the media was all of the things they're crying about as far as the Democrat Party didn't seem to care about that with Hillary Clinton's case. They didn't want nothing redacted. This is private. The same thing you just said. It's like you got to protect the witnesses and all that. Yep. Now all of a sudden IQs just dropped precipitously in the Democrat Party because now all of it's fair game.
And the media is fit to be tied. They are fuming. They are in total meltdown mode. And it's hilarious because I knew this was what was going to happen. Hollywood is in meltdown, and you know, it's still not enough. Now they're going to go back to what? Are they going to go back to his taxes now? They're going to go back to his taxes because the Mueller report is a dead burger.
Well, why don't they investigate Amazon's taxes, because they paid nothing in corporate tax?
Why don't we look at Nancy Pelosi's taxes?
Hillary Clinton's taxes. The
Schumer
Clinton Foundation's taxes, Schumer's taxes. I mean, well, and what gets me is even back, years ago when, that horse-faced dude, John Kerry, was running for president, and they were talking about his tax returns, and he explained it as a Democrat to Democrats so they understood it. He's like, millionaires and billionaires don't really pay personal income tax, which is what your tax forms are for. So because everything they own, buy, and live off of is part of corporate structures, and his yacht's paid for. Everything's taken care of by the corporation or the trust. So they might only pay them $600-700 a month for walking around money. Yeah. And everything else is done through credit cards and all that. So Trump's income is going to be irrelevant to Trump's wealth.
Yeah. Well, John Kerry didn't pay any taxes. Well, at least on his boat. Remember the boat thing?
Oh yeah, that he went and turned around and docked it somewhere else and had
Yeah.
it registered in the Netherlands or something, so there were no taxes on it.
Uh-huh.
And all the Democrats were like, "Well, that's what you do when you're smart and you
Right.
have money." Now I guess Trump's not allowed to do that because he's not a Democrat.
Right. Ding, ding, ding. You win a nothing burger.
I'll
And
take
so,
I'll
and
take
so,
2 big fat nothing burgers, please. I'm kind of
and,
hungry.
and so, Barr says that, remember when Trump was running, he said that he thinks he's being spied on. Well, all right. First of all, we had a FISA warrant. What is a FISA warrant, Mark? Do you know what a FISA warrant is?
I think that's a go spy free card, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. It's a go spy free card. So that right there is the telltale sign that they were spying on Donald Trump.
Yeah.
They had a FISA warrant. What more do you need as evidence that they were spying on Trump? But no, they denied it till they were blue in the face. No pun intended to you blue hearts out there. But then the funny thing is, Attorney General Barr comes out and says, I think he was spied on.
Yeah. And they're like, no way. This can't happen in a democracy.
No. And here they are, the whole thing. Now he says that he's going to start doing this investigation into, who started all this collusion stuff. Remember what we talked about with Hillary Clinton being investigated? One of my wants.
Right.
I think my want is here. I think you are going to start seeing an investigation into Hillary Clinton, and it's just going to be mind-boggling.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I just lost my whole train of thought because we were talking about Clinton.
Because I was babbling.
No, I was just sitting there thinking there are so many things we could look up on the Clintons. Just Hillary.
Just her.
And the bleach bit and the destruction of government property and the destruction of court documents that they were asking for. You or I do that, even just kick something under your car and the cop can sit there and say you were trying to hide evidence and arrest you for that. If nothing
exactly.
else.
Yep.
But the Clintons, they got this platinum get out of free card, jail free card that somehow never seems to, expire, I guess. But I'm with you. I'm thinking the whole thing is going to start going that direction into the actual real cover up and the whole Russia conspiracy and collusion was totally the Clintons.
I sure hope so, man. I sure hope that we are about to see the truth all these years finally come out.
Right. That'd be kind of nice. But I think before it comes out or on the verge or the cusp of it coming out and everything collapsing on the Clintons and the deep state, we will see problems in America because they're not going to just let their house of cards fall down without doing something else. They have more in their arsenal.
Oh, I'm sure.
So we could see any kind of false flags, any kind of just whatever they need to do to protect and cover their rear ends.
Oh yeah. And that's the whole thing. That's what's led up to this whole thing now. And now, you got Barr in there and he's just, oh man, it's a breath of fresh air. It really is.
It is. Yeah. I'm liking the guy. He's and what's funny is the media is like, well, he needs to decide whether he's going to represent the American people or represent the president. It's like, excuse me, but isn't that kind of an oxymoron thing to say? If the president is elected by the people of the United States.
Right.
And he protects that image and everything. And he's looking out for the American people by actually telling the truth. And now they want to say he's a puppet.
Right. Well, this isn't his first go around as Attorney General, right? You do know that, right?
No, I'm actually not real familiar with the guy. You know.
So William Barr, he actually right now is serving as Attorney General, but he previously served in the position from 91 to 93. So I didn't know whether you knew that or not. But oh yeah. And so this is I guess like his second go around or whatever. But
this is his second rodeo. So
yeah, so he knows what he's doing. He's very familiar with what's going on,
Right.
and he knows how to handle these people. You know, he knows how to handle these yahoos, if you will. But yeah, he was under H.W. Bush.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was looking up because I've never had a problem with the Russian people. And so I started looking up Russia's history with the United States. And it goes back before the Declaration of Independence, even though I think it was Alexander the First was just awestruck by the Declaration of Independence and thought it was really a great thing to do. He wasn't into the independence part of it, but he thought it was basically a really ballsy move of the colonies to do that. And he really supported them. Now, he didn't really look at independence like we do through today's prism, because they were monarchies and aristocratic societies and kings and all that. But when he read it, he goes, this is a good kind of government. And so he helped. And then I think, what's her name? Let me scroll through here and see if I can find her. Catherine the Great actually turned down England's a couple of requests to help with the Revolutionary War. And she didn't like England at all, thought all the problems that was going on in England was, the king's fault. And so she wouldn't send, Russian Navy over to help at all. And so, for Russia being the enemy of the world, they helped us in the Civil War. They've always been a good ally to us. And the only reason we kind of fell away from that bromance with Russia was when they became communist. And then we had the Cold War because now we're communists. So we couldn't play well with them in the same sandbox. But they're not the enemy we all think they are. And now they have private property ownership and more civil rights, I think, than we do in America.
Right.
So, say what you want about Putin and all these guys, but first of all, they are a superpower. And I'd rather have a superpower smile and shake my hand than want to stab us in the back.
Yeah. So just for a little background, because we got about 58 seconds left. And so, he was there. He was around during the whole, Iran Contra controversy and that whole 9 yards. So this guy knows corruption, man. He knows it. He can smell it. He can see it. He's been around it, and he knows the deal. So I think we're gonna be sitting pretty good with this guy as our Attorney General. Now Donald Trump reappointed him again, and he is coming out, with the races. So. Listen, we're going to have to hold that thought. We're going to have to take a break, and we will be back right after these messages, so don't go away.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
This is Contra Radio Network, internet radio for the discerning prepper and patriot.
Hi, this is John Jeffers, inviting you to listen to my show, The Jeffers Brief. You know, on The Jeffers Brief, we discuss topics of interest and concerns for preppers and patriots. And you can only find us on the Contra Radio Network on podbean.com or KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. Hope you join me, and we'll talk to you then.
Talking the issues and taking the hit. Here they are, the two crazy guys.
Alrighty, welcome back to the second segment of today's program. Before we went to the break, we were talking a little bit about the Mueller report, and we were talking about Mr. Barr, the new, not so new Attorney General. And, how things are starting to maybe look up for Trump for once. However, remember, we are heading into an election, and the Democrats, remember, Donald Trump is going to be running on, keeping America great income, great jobs, great GDP, all of that good stuff, and the Democrats are going to be running on Stop Donald Trump.
Right. They have no message. I never have gotten that, like I would not sit there and spend most of my time bashing the competition, even in business, because now I'm paying for airtime and talking about the other guy. Just tell your customers what you can do and what you offer and your reputation.
Amen.
And so why did the Democrats think that that's a winning strategy, except for their mindless base, to sit there and hammer on the other guy? Tell me what you're going to do, because I would vote for somebody, no matter what party, if their plan was better than the other guy.
Absolutely.
But if they're just going to sit there and go, well, he sucks, and then you go, well, what are you going to do? Well, probably suck too. I mean, I'm left with the conclusion.
The thing that gets me is you got, washed up socialist Bernie Sanders, and he's out there. The man has gotten filthy, stinking, dirty rich through the very exact same system that he claims he's against.
Right. And he commented on that. I can't remember his comment about his book, but he was saying how his book was, trying to enlighten, the youth and all that. And he goes, I'm not going to apologize that it's a bestseller. But he kind of sidestepped the whole issue of the money of that bestseller,
which they always do.
Right. So it's typical socialism. It's like they paint a really pretty picture, but then when you start looking at it, you go, well, what's going to happen to me? Oh, well, you're going to be screwed. I'm going to be good because I'm at the top of the heap. It's
that's the way socialism works, my brother. That's the way it works, man. Look at Kim Jong-un, fat and happy, and his people are starving.
Well, yeah, we talked about that. I think one of the first shows. I go, you can always tell the leader of a socialist or a communist country because they're the only one in the room that has a XXX large suit. Everyone else are skinny as a rail, like all them soldiers in North Korea.
Right.
I mean, they look more emaciated than, most people I've ever seen.
Yeah. And most of them are old,
Yeah.
And, I mean, not to put anything down against us, but you can tell they're very elder in age. You don't see, anytime I've ever seen watch the parades or whatever, most of the soldiers that I see are, north of 50 at least.
Yeah, except all the ones marching real pretty. They're the serfs that have to, swear allegiance to them.
Right.
But yeah, and I love the medals that these guys have all over their uniforms. It looks like some hippie with a bunch of stickers on his car because he's too cheap to paint it.
Yeah, I just wonder what those medals mean because none of them have to do with warfare.
No, because they haven't been to war since the last time we were at war with North Korea. What was that, 50, 60 years ago?
Well, technically, they're still at war. Technically,
yeah.
There was a peace treaty signed there, but there was never an end of the war declaration there.
Yeah, but where did he win that medal? Like this one is for combat. What 50 years ago? Well, some of them are old enough. This
Right.
one's for what? What are all these medals for? Screwing
Yeah.
your neighbor, turning in your friend.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Skipping a meal and passing it on to someone else. I don't know.
Someone more fortunate like Kim's family.
Yeah. So I always thought that it would be interesting to take a trip over there to South Korea and check out the DMZ. I've always been fascinated by that place. Never got there. Don't think I'm going to ever end up getting there, but I'm just saying it would probably be a cool experience to go and see. If I ever did go there, you can bet I'm going to pack every stinking camera that I can put on in my bag, man.
Oh man, I would never. I've gotten to where I won't even go to Mexico anymore.
I don't go.
It's just I know the rules in America, and even though they might kind of suck, on a political level, I know that if I call 911, they might be, 10 minutes late, not 10 days late.
Unless you're in Tucson.
Yeah, they would come quick. They'd just get robbed along the way.
Yeah, in Tucson, the PD response is really, really bad because they're so short-handed.
Yeah. Yep. And well, they're almost a sanctuary city, aren't they?
Yeah. Not to mention all the crap heads that have gone there. And
right.
I heard somebody say, I don't remember if it's Tucson, but I heard somebody talking about, and I think it is actually Tucson. But I heard somebody talking about how all of the homeless shelters are full to capacity and they're asking people to bring them into their homes.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen if I lived there. Well, I used to live there.
Remember, that was the other thing I was going to talk about today. Donald Trump and his let's send the illegals to the sanctuary cities.
It sounds like such a great idea because aren't they the ones that all, love these people?
But see, they don't because they don't want them.
Oh,
see,
so they're lying.
Well, yeah, yeah. So I mean, Nancy Pelosi threw a hissy fit. Well, that's and what's his name? Booker Spartacus.
Booker T. Washington.
Spartacus is like, that's not safe for us, and we can't do that because it's against the law. It violates the law, and it makes us unsafe. And then Trump's like, dude, isn't that what I've been trying to tell you all along?
It doesn't matter. The Democrats are so good at saying the sky is not blue. Today it's green. Yeah. And the media, with the double speak, mindset that they have, they will sit there and make you think it's green. And if you don't, you're a fool. It's right. Just like Orwell's book, 1980, was it 1984, I think was the name of the book. I don't know if if you read it or any of our listeners, but it was the saddest, even though it was totally a fictional story.
Yeah.
Just the things that are going on when he wrote that. And you're like, that sucked back then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
and so the whole thing, it just goes to prove that the Democrats, it has nothing to do with the humanitarian issue. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. It just has everything to do with, they just want to oppose Donald Trump at any cost. Yep. And even though they say they want the borders open and they want everybody to be able to come here freely and they have rights to be here, but then when Donald Trump says, okay, well, we can give you an endless supply, they're like, no, don't do that. We don't want that. We don't want them in our cities. What the hell?
Right. It's like, well, where are we supposed to put them then? Because you're the ones that are letting them all in or wanting them all in. So it seemed to me if you're going to invite everyone to your party, then they're going to come hang out at your house where the party is.
Right.
Not coming to my house because I'm not having a party.
I'm not having a party.
Yeah. So I wouldn't let them in anyway.
Also, I urge you to not come to my home uninvited because there are serious consequences for doing that.
They might fall into one of them trap doors to your bunker.
I'm not telling, but I have booby traps all around my house. So it's not a safe place to be if you don't know what you're doing at night. Let's just put it that way.
Right. They're not the lethal booby traps, though, right?
Well, I'm not going to
check.
say my traps have ever caught a booby, but
No, I said booby, not booty.
I said booby too. Maybe we shouldn't say that.
I have no idea, but
We're going to get in trouble.
it's Good Friday, so maybe we should try to be good, which I think means being crazy.
I digress.
So we're good at being crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I digress.
Digress. Is that would be the opposite of progress, but I've always heard that Congress is the opposite of progress. So,
Mark, you're confusing me.
I know.
So anyway, yeah, those are kind of the big stories. You know, the left is in a tailspin right now because the Mueller report revealed absolutely nothing, which we knew was going to happen. And it just, you know, it's phenomenal. It's actually funny to watch this whole thing. It's just absolutely hilarious.
Right. It is. It's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen happening, you know, but, well, I don't know. Maybe it's not the weirdest thing I've ever seen happening because I'm just aware of it now more because I think they've always been hypocrites and you know, saying the sky is green when it's blue and up is down and everything. So maybe it's just we're becoming more aware of it, and it just drives me bananas.
All right, so let's keep on this track with this whole Mueller thing because, all right, so we have nothing, we have absolutely nothing, and here we have Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. You know, she's calling for impeachment still. You have Napolitano. Remember Napolitano?
Yeah.
It says the Mueller report might be enough to prosecute. What's wrong? What dope are these people smoking, man?
Now did what's Napolitano say that's possible?
Well, she says the Mueller report might be enough to prosecute. This is Andrew Napolitano.
Or to impeach.
Andrew Napolitano. And you know, so you know, the Fox News Andrew Napolitano.
Oh, okay.
And he suggested today as a Friday, not today, Friday, because this is Sunday, as a matter of fact, that there might be enough evidence in the Mueller report to prosecute President Donald Trump.
Oh,
he says, depending on how you look at them, there might be enough to prosecute, but the Attorney General has decided it's not enough to prosecute. So where's Napolitano getting this?
I don't, a Cracker Jacks box?
And then, you know, Trump takes to Twitter again. And he says, if dozens of federal prosecutors spent 2 years trying to charge you with a crime and found they couldn't, it would mean that there isn't any evidence that you did it. And that's what happened here. And that's what we just learned from the Mueller report.
Well, it's kind of like a grand jury. You know, they look at all the evidence and go, no, there's no there, so skip it. So how do you take and make something out of nothing?
I don't know, Mark, but we got to run because we got to take a break. So stick around, folks. We'll be back right after this. Do not go away.
The Two Crazy Guys on Contra Radio Network and KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority.
Hey, you caught me bugging out of the area because of a critical incident. Luckily, I know what to do and I know where I'm going. Thanks to the Contra Radio Network. I mean, I listen to these guys. They give me crucial information on what to do when a critical crisis happens. So what about you? Do you guys listen to the Contra Radio Network?
Times are changing. The circus of politics, healthcare's low standards and high prices, and let's not forget food quality. What to do? Arm yourself with Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. In a world of chemical imbalance and poor air and water quality, it's time you make a move. Log on to GetTheTea.com and stock up on organic non-GMO supplements. Don't forget the tea. Cleansing your body never felt so good. And we have a brand new tea called Takedown Tea, which helps support healthy glucose. All natural body support so you can be at your best, naturally. All you have to do is log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. We're not a fad that comes and goes. We are the real deal. Join us and armor up. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Changing America's health one tea bag at a time.
Chasing the rabbit so you don't have to. Prepper Guy and Big D have joined forces to dig into the issues. Here they are, the two crazy guys.
Alrighty, and welcome to another segment of the program today. When we left, we were talking about the Nothing Burger and the Mueller report and all of that good stuff. And it just blows me away how, these people are still, even though you have absolutely no evidence, zero, and they still think they got it, Mark.
I don't understand, because I don't understand how, like, you hear Judge Napolitano talking about there may be something to prosecute. And then I was listening to Mark Levin, and he was saying that nobody has ever been impeached and removed from office in American history. There's been impeachments, but they haven't been removed from office.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, and he was saying that it has to be, treason or high crimes and misdemeanors, meaning high crimes, not something, that based on innuendo and stuff like that, because once it proceeded into a courtroom, all the rules would change. Now
Right.
You have to have actual proof.
Right.
And it would never go there, because I don't even think the left is stupid enough to take this in front of a sane judge or a jury and go, here's evidence of Trump. He licked a stamp that had a picture of Russia on it. It's like, that is not proof.
Right.
So I'm curious, but then anytime you talk to two lawyers, you're going to get two stories. So, I could sue you right now because I don't like the color of the blanket in the back of your studio. And I could find a lawyer that would do it. It'd be a big waste of time, but so I don't know why Napolitano would say one thing, who I think I'd say 50% of the time I respect the guy. And the same with Mark Levin. Mark Levin will go off in la la land sometimes too.
They all do.
And so it's like, well, maybe we should get the take from someone that's a constitutional lawyer, like, Chrisanne Hall or somebody, that actually knows what they're talking about.
Right. Well, it's just, it's beyond me that I don't know, man. They're going to pull, they think they're going to pull this thing they want so bad. They want this so bad. They have had their hands clutched around this thing for so long. This has been their baby. Right. And now someone has taken the baby away from them, and they're kicking and screaming. That baby is kicking and screaming and just going absolutely berserk. They have absolutely nothing, yet they still seem to think they can march on. What goes through somebody's mind like that?
Well, and I guess the sadder part of the story is most of these big mouths, aside from the media who are paid to be just stupid most of the time, these are politicians, duly elected, swear an oath politicians. And they are the ones that are trying to destroy the presidency, which can never be good for the country, even if it's a Democrat. You have to at least refrain from being so stupid you throw the baby out with the bathwater, which is what they're trying to do. They're going to destroy the country because they're so fixated on their hatred for Donald Trump.
And George Washington was against a two-party system like what we have.
Oh, yeah. When he ran, well, back in the good old days, see, George Washington ran against 6 or 7 candidates.
Right.
And his
he was appointed his first term.
Yeah. But his vice president was John Adams, who
Right.
came in second.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they picked a running mate back then. It's
Right.
like, you and me run for president. If you win, I'm automatically your vice president. So you had some kind of cohesive, working together.
Our republic sure is not what our founders created, my friend.
No, the two-party system has done nothing but destroy America politics.
Absolutely. Well, not just politics, the country itself.
Yeah. And
And
when you really
they have taken the republic so far away from what it was meant to be, and they're continuing to do so. And if we allow them to do this, people, they're going to take the republic completely away and replace it with a democracy.
Right. And see, that's all that marketing over the years, like Banana Republic and, the Republic of China. A republic is a perfect form of government the way the founders set it up.
Rule by balance.
Yeah. But so these companies that want to be like, McDonald's, but can't just seem to get their act together and make a profit. They go out and create their own golden arches, and they'll get their own clown and all that. But that's what they're doing to the republic. They've put it on all these fringe governments that totally suck. And then they go, well, we don't want to become a banana republic. Well, no, we don't want to become a banana republic, but we do want to maintain our constitutional republic.
That's exactly right.
And they've made it into a bad word with their wordsmithing and all this stuff, to where we, once again, as Americans, don't see that it's a form of a lie, and they keep telling it, and oh my God, I don't know how many times a week do I hear Tucker Carlson and some of the people on news, even Laura Ingraham, utter the word democracy. And
it drives me nuts, man.
It's like, why don't you just call it something else, like a banana, like George Bush said?
This is why I don't watch Fox News anymore. This is why I'm watching One America News Network. This is why I'm tuned out of these liberal junky media outlets.
Right.
One America News has become my source for news now. Look, man, I'm going to say it. Even Matt Drudge is kind of fallen off a little bit as well. I remember when there was a time when he was would report staunch conservative news, and now he's just pulling all the stuff and just throwing it out there.
Right. He's just pulling in news feeds and throwing it out there, and
it drives me nuts because most of it isn't even accurate news.
Well, did you get a chance to I'm going to use this name and everyone's going to go, oh my God, he said Alex Jones.
I love Alex Jones, a great American patriot, my friend.
Yes. If anybody was going to be called a great American, it would be Alex Jones, who's put his fortune and his life on the line many times.
Yes, man.
To just tell you his side of the story.
Yes, man.
He's not beating it down people's throats. He's just saying, here's all the facts I found. Oh, they hate him. But he was talking about this, network or internet thing, and they're going to start funneling it through 5 or 6 big media companies like Twitter, Facebook, and all that, to where you and I won't even be able to have a website.
Yeah.
Without it being cleared with, kissing the ring of Mark Zuckerberg and the Alphabet, soup company. What are they called? Google, their parent company is Alphabet Corporation.
Yeah, whatever.
And Twitter and a few other, ones like Google and stuff, even though Google owns pretty much all of it. So we're losing it. And pretty soon you won't be able to get the other side of any story.
That's exactly right. Now, and it's funny that you mentioned that too, because I thought I read somewhere on a tech blog somewhere that pretty soon they're gonna make all websites have the HTTPS now, be the secure certificate, or you won't be able to put it up. It's not active yet, but that's something that I read is coming down the pipe.
Yeah, and we've got our free certificate on twocrazyguys.com, but if you upload a picture that's, an image that you save on your file and stuff, it doesn't get the S on there.
Right.
And so you really got to sit there and go through all your files and make sure they've been run through and saved as HTTPS, or you get the little explanation point.
Right.
But, it's HTTPS, Prepper Guy, HTTPS, Two Crazy Guys, Contra Radio. But it's really hard to keep it showing the little green lock.
Yeah.
They're making it so damn complicated.
Yeah.
And
that's part of the plan.
Yeah.
That's part of the whole plan.
Yeah. And,
in order to control us and everything that we do.
Well, when they murdered Lavoy Finnegan.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
that
I
was
call it.
Absolute murder.
Yeah.
That was, my friend, the real hands up, don't shoot story.
Yeah. And yet they shot him. Well, I had done a podcast on, private property and property rights. And I had gone through with our business website where I went to log on to sierrafloors.com one day and it was just gone. So it said, if you want to figure this out, contact the host provider. So I called a hosting company and they said, well, you didn't re-register with ICANN. So I was like, well, I don't know what that means. So they had sent me an email to the wrong email address. And then they had just shut off completely my website until I clicked the little link that said, I still own this website. It's not like the hosting company didn't know I own it because I'm paying the bills for it.
Exactly.
But they wanted to check it. And with the flip of a digital switch, it was off for a day until I caught it. And then it was back on instantaneously.
Yep.
And I was ranting about that, saying, this is my property. I own this content. It's put out there on a public platform that America owns, the internet, and the backbone of it. Who are these people like ICANN to sit there and dictate whether my website is live or not? And that was 4.5. Well, how long ago was Lavoy murdered? When that happened? 4 or 5 years ago?
2015, wasn't it?
Yeah. So 4 years.
Yeah.
And they were screwing with us then. Now ICANN didn't become the big player. They started this consortium, which was international, and Obama, bless his stupid heart, gave 66% of the American-made internet to a European consortium.
Yeah.
And so now, even though we created the internet, sorry, America, but that, the rest of the world, but that's what we do. We create really cool stuff. We created the internet and then gave a majority of it to a consortium because they were all crying about privacy and all this. And now this consortium is pushing this, 5-6 member group, a monopoly, but it's actually called an oligopoly or something like that. When you get 5 monopolies together that create a higher monopoly, that's what it'll be. And that will be running the internet. And so not just our show, because we're kind of crazy, spelt with a K. But, you're not going to be able to even find out what the Mueller report is unless you listen to CNN, NBC, even Fox. Maybe we'll survive
and you're
this.
Gonna get what they tell you.
Right. So you're not going to be able to eventually even go Google that.
Right.
And learn it. So it's a bigger threat than most Americans think, but I guess we're too busy to pay attention to it or something.
Well, either that or just too stupid, and we're just letting them take control. Listen, we got to go to our final break for the program, so stick around. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away.
So, are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Alrighty, and welcome back to the final segment of today's program. Something I wanted to talk about real quick because I know we're in the last segment, and I know Mark likes to wrap things up in a pretty little bow. And so, couple of things. Maybe Biden is about ready to jump in. We don't know yet. There could be an announcement in days. They've been in damage control with his, the gropey, creepy Uncle Joe Biden. And they seem to think that they might have enough control over that to where he might jump in. So stick around. That's a news story that's going to be developing over the week. We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
And then the other thing, too, that is interesting is Ivanka. Ivanka Trump went down to Africa. And you don't see this being reported in the mainstream media, but she was welcomed. They welcomed her with open arms. They were dancing with her. They were giving her gifts. They were treating her like she was a real queen. And you don't hear a word of that in the liberal media, man. I'm telling you, Ivanka Trump was a star. She was a hero down in Africa, man. And that's a story that you don't see out there in the mainstream media. Folks, that is let me tell you, first of all, not only is she a beautiful woman, but she is very, very smart.
She is. I mean, she's very articulate, very smart, very pretty. And when you contrast the only difference between Jacqueline Kennedy and Ivanka Trump, they're both attractive, well-dressed, well-mannered, educated. Kennedy was a Democrat. Yeah. And everyone hates Trump. They hate his kid. They hate everything about him. Everything. I'm surprised the Trump businesses are still open because everybody hates him so much. But his poll ratings are going up, in spite of what the media wants to tell you. Pull the wool over your eyes, and that's great because I had heard nothing about it. Of course, yesterday when I tuned into my 10, 20 minutes of the news, it was all about the Mueller, report and Barr, redacted and stuff. And so that was 24/7, whatever you want to call it, a snow job. And so that's good to hear because I think Ivanka is really a good ambassador, I guess we'd call her.
Absolutely. She's incredible. And, just to redact a little bit, or retract, I should say, a little bit. I don't think there's as much hatred for Trump as what the media wants you to believe there is. Remember, they have the voice. They have the microphone, the loudspeaker, and they can make you think anything they want you to think. But when you look at the numbers and you look at the statistics and you look at the facts, they're totally opposite from what the media is trying to tell you, that everybody hates Trump, but everybody doesn't hate Trump.
No, I don't think so. And I know I don't hate Trump. I know you don't hate Trump. Most of the people I meet on a day-to-day basis don't hate Trump.
Right.
It's just the media has crawled through the sewage dump and find these people that don't like him. And then they get a spokesman that can actually make you think that, a crap sandwich is the best thing that on earth. And they should open a crap sandwich restaurant. But the reality is, most people don't hate him. There's a lot of people that hate him. There's probably 10% of even the Democrats that could get to the level of hate.
Right.
a lot of people maybe disagree with him, but there's not the hatred. And then 53% think he's doing an awesome job for America.
Right.
And it might have gone up since I saw 53% was, I think, 4 or 5 days ago.
Well, here we are. Listen, we've got about 9 minutes left in today's program, a little less than that. And it is, after all, Easter.
Yeah.
And so Mark told me during the break he wanted to kind of talk a little bit about on the Easter theme. So wrap it up in a pretty little bow, Mr. Mark.
Oh, you're just going to dump this on me, huh?
No,
Well,
I'm here, man.
Okay. Well, I've been deemed as an apostate and an agnostic, but never an atheist. And like I had mentioned the other day when I'd gotten a comment about using the Lord's name in vain, and I explained to that gentleman, I said, I believe there's something out there. I don't really care what his or her name is or any of that. I just, I know there's something out there, and I don't want to die being a bigger a-hole than I was, 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And as far as the resurrection and all that, I don't know, but I know a lot of people believe in it. And I guess it's the gambler's theory. Well, if I follow it and believe it and I'm a good person and there's nothing there, I was still a good person. But if there is, I need Christ for my redemption. If I've been a good boy, then I get that benefit too. I guess.
See, here's the way I think it. This is the way I see it. Okay. I absolutely believe that there is a creator. I absolutely wholeheartedly believe that with all of my being. And the reason I believe that is because I also used to do a lot of, diving, underwater diving and stuff. And so the ocean, the underwater life, the underwater realm is a totally different atmosphere in its own.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have, our planet is so equally balanced and perfectly balanced. I just can't bring myself to believe that some kind of an explosion happened and then it just all melded out to be that way.
That perfect.
Our atmosphere, our oxygen that we have to live on is a fine line. It's a minute line. It's not like you have this big open air, a gap between oxygen enriched and oxygen deficient.
Right. It's called a vacuum, which would suck it all out.
Right. So I just can't bring myself to believe that our atmosphere just created itself to be perfect so that we could be able to breathe.
Right.
And I don't believe, I'm sorry, but I don't believe that we just evolved from animals. I just don't believe it, Mark.
Well, it's interesting you say that because, my years of study of religion and stuff, some of the smartest minds on the planet have all reached a certain level of intelligence to where eventually they just go, something had to create this. You don't get something out of nothing.
Right.
There's chaos and there's capillary action and all these magical things. But when you really dive into it and you see the beauty of it, and I never thought science outweighed religion or bashed religion, and I never thought you couldn't have science and religion in your brain at one time.
Exactly.
Because if there's all these rules of physics and string theory and all that, maybe the creator created those rules, or maybe he used them to create what we have. But I don't think one diminishes from the other in any way. So I've always had that belief that there's something out there. And from what I can gather from all of the hearsay over the thousands of years that man's been, postulating, is that there's a creator and he loves us and he wants us to not be idiots. And I can follow that. I can do that.
Well, and the other thing that, all right, so let's just take into consideration the Big Bang Theory. Okay, what created the Big Bang?
Right.
What created, okay, so if it was two meteorites that were traveling through space and they just banged into each other and created this massive explosion, what created those meteors?
Right. And don't meteors run into each other all the time?
Well, yeah.
Or black holes even?
I'm going to tell you this as well. I also do believe in other life forms on other planets.
Yeah.
I would think that we would be very naive to believe that in all of the billions and billions of light years that there are in the different galaxies out there, that we would be the only form of life anywhere else.
Well, and that theory almost links with most religious beliefs, because God's the one that said, my works are without end.
Right.
Well, what, just here on Earth? No, I mean, this guy's been around for eternity and will be around for the remaining eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's been tinkering around in his workshop for eternity and his works are without end, it would be naive or shallow-minded to think that there isn't other life forms, or whatever you want to call them, out there.
Right. Now, so I was a very, very, very big fan of Art Bell. I loved Art Bell, man. God, rest in peace. Rest your soul, my friend. But Art had a knack for, talking about and bringing about the different things that most people would stay away from. And, but like I said, I do believe that, there's a creator. I believe, and I might get us in trouble here, Mark, with what I'm about to say. I'm not a big follower of structured religion, if you will.
Yes.
Okay. And the reason I say that is because who killed Jesus?
Yeah, structured religion.
The religious. The religious is who killed Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Pontius Pilate actually said, I find no fault with this man. I give you a choice between Barabbas and Jesus. And they said, kill Jesus. And that was the religious folk that did that.
Right. It's almost like Trump. Barr saying, I find nothing wrong here.
Here's look. All right. I'm going to throw this out because I'm sorry to interrupt you, buddy.
Let's go for it.
I got to get this out because we got about a minute and 25 seconds left. The Bible says that you are to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Right. Well, I think like you, I have a hard time following someone else's interpretation of what someone else interpreted about someone else that said that someone else saw 2,000 years ago,
exactly.
3,000 years ago.
Exactly.
Because there was corruption back then, and just like there is now. And I'm not gonna let them dictate what makes me morally correct.
Right.
Because it's based on, just look at most religions, they'll still run out and kill each other for no apparent reason in the name of their God. I would never do that.
Right.
So I have to look at it as all the facts on the table. I will pick and choose and, like you said, work out my own salvation. And if Jesus is out there and that was his purpose, great. I don't disrespect him in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But I'm not sure. And therefore I'm gonna, I guess, try to follow his wishes.
Yes.
And be a good person. And if he's there to pick up the slack, I'm sure I'll have some slack that'll need to be picked up. But I don't want to make his job difficult, so I try to be a good person based on my study, just like you were saying.
Well, that brings us to the close of another program today. If you're listening to us, welcome aboard. Thank you for tuning in, and happy Easter to you.
Yes, happy Easter, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in. Catch them next time as they dig into the issues. The Two Crazy Guys. Log on to the website at www.contraradionetwork.com.